Willkommen zurück zu Let's Play The Fruit of Grisaia. Im letzten Part hatten wir ja das Thema Hobbys. Und mal gucken, wie es jetzt weitergeht. But the man didn't know any popular songs. Worse, he couldn't remember any of the standard folk songs or children's music that might have worked in a pinch. The man went instead with the theme song of a superhero TV show, Lightspeed General Daimakarov, which he'd loved as a kid. By this point he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of despair. This was, of course, the man's first time singing in public, and he didn't have much of a voice. Within moments he was showered in jeers from the audience. "The hell are you singing? What's with you? Hey asshole, are you just making that up on the spot? That's enough, get off the stage, you suck." Although he wasn't the type to break down in tears, the man felt a deep urge to dig himself a hole and crawl into it. Only sheer stubbornness carried him through the last humiliating note. When it was over, the man quickly bowed from the stage and raced back to his seat. On that walk back from the stage, the man had a thought. I wish I'd learned a popular song or two.
つまりカラオケが趣味だったらいらん恥をかかずに済んだってお話?
Well, if you look at it that way, you're right. But the story isn't over yet. Geht noch weiter, noch mehr Geschichte. With the equipment test wrapped up, the man had returned to his new assignment at the branch office in Shizuoka. Someone called out to him as he was dealing with the transfer paperwork. "So you were the newbie who sang Daimakarov at the banquet in Gifu?" The man's breath caught in his throat. He'd figured out by now that the main job of his superiors was to flaunt their authority by picking at the smallest mistake and then rubbing his nose in them. And the manager speaking to him was infamous for his zealous leadership of his underlings. Frankly, the man was about ready to piss his pants. He swallowed and chewed his lip, bitter thoughts running through his head. What's he going to blame on me? How long will I leave to grovel? But the manager's words took him by surprise. "I loved that song when I was a kid!" The man blinked, dumbfounded by this unexpected development. "You from Hiroshima, kid?" According to the manager, Daimakarov, reruns were played relentlessly every weekend afternoon on the local station. In other words, practically every child in Hiroshima grew up watching the show. But the man wasn't a Hiroshima native. In the area he lived in as a child, the Children's Encore Theatre program would broadcast old episodes of the show every summer. He just happened to see it a few. Even so, the manager must have been really pleased to find a fellow Daimakarov fan, as he began to pull a few strings to the man's benefit. One night after work, the man returned to his bed in the company dorm to find that a white plastic bag had been tucked underneath the sheets on his neatly made bed. He didn't remember putting it there himself, and when he asked around, nobody else had any idea where it had come from. The bag contained a huge jelly roll and a cup of instant ramen. As a new employee, the man had to eat dinner at the set time of 5 p.m. By 10 p.m, lights out, time at the dorm. All of the trainees would be starving. This supplemental meal was therefore a very considerate present. The man had an idea who was responsible. Most likely his Makarov buddy at the top was the only one who could have pulled it off. On top of the early dinner time, learning the ropes as a trainee is particularly tiring. His Makarov buddy had probably figured he'd have a hard time getting his young body to fall asleep on an empty stomach. The man actually didn't have a particularly big appetite and wasn't the type to be troubled by irregular meals. But then again, as a new employee, he didn't have much money he could spend freely on snacks and such. A little sugar was extremely welcome. If I get caught, they'll get punished too. So the man split this mug of food with the other trainees in his room, and they all devoured their shares greedily. As the present from his Makarov buddy, at the time they were known as the Makarov supply drop, continued the talentless, quiet, and hobbyless triple treat contender for the year's social crown suddenly found himself getting along with the group in the dorm, all thanks to the Makarov connection. And 3 months later, when the man's train period came to end, it was once again his Makarov buddy whose recommendation got him assigned to the Chiba branch office he'd hoped for. In other words, when it comes to hobbies and interests, anything is fine. Finding friends you can talk about some common interest with is a really valuable thing. Sometimes something that small can be the trigger for gaining a huge leg up in life. That's the moral of the story. I thought this was a pretty meaningful story. I guess it didn't quite get across. Sie hat es also doch annähernd verstanden? Well, more or less. When you're young, you should mess around with all sorts of things. Just try to find something that grabs you, even if it's stupid crap. After all that spacing out, that's a pretty sharp question. I glanced down toward the pile of borrowed books I'm holding in my hands. I suppose, right now, I don't have any other than reading that qualifies. You aren't really listening to a word I say, are you? Well, not to say that you need to. Go get Amane to make something. Yeah, if I'm in the mood. Oh, bis später. I see. I learned my own lesson from this conversation. If there's a mention of food in the middle of a story, Makina won't remember another word. I'll have to be more careful next time. Tja, mit Makina nicht über Essen reden. So, in unserem Zimmer, was passiert denn jetzt? During my middle school days in America, I got a number of strange nicknames from my classmates. Mainly because none of them could be bothered to remember a Japanese name. On the predictable side, there was Jap and Shorty. My family name Kazumi got abbreviated to KZ as well. However, among my numerous nicknames, the only one that stuck through basic training was Gar, short for garbage eater. It's not that I had a reputation for dumpster diving. It was a reference to my tolerance for shitty food. As to how I earned it, the story is very simple. The KP made a slop unfit for pigs, and I ate it without grimacing. Freeze-dried scrambled eggs, pork and beans made from scraps of ham, bread with peanut butter, and ridiculously stringy mystery meat were the staples. Every one of them had a weird chemical aftertaste, and they were all disgusting. Rumor had it that the secret sauce was gasoline. As for the chocolate cake we got for dessert, it was more commonly and accurately describing as a dessert. The cake was legendary for being inedible. No matter how starved you were, it would end up stuck in your throat as dry lump. But I ate it, and all the rest without complaining. Probably because I was living through a rough from a young age. I've never been what you'd call a piggy eater. To put it simply, as long as my belly was full and my body was getting what it needed, the taste wasn't a concern. So even those 3 torturous meals a day didn't inspire any serious complaints from me. But the people around me must have thought I was some sort of freak. And after a while my nickname became Garbage Eater, then eventually just Gar. Hey Gar, just how shitty a cook was your mom? I had a set response to this one. My mom didn't cook much. She was too busy screwing your dad's brain out. As far as my jokes go, I thought it was kind of witty, but that line didn't get that many laughs. I guess my delivery was a bit too stony. Well then, what should I go for dinner? I don't particularly feel a desire to eat. But if you don't take meals at 3 regular times a day, it throws off your body's clock and leaves you more susceptible to fatigue. To tell the truth, I view meals as nothing more than an element of maintaining my physical condition. As long as I'm getting sufficient nourishment, I'm not that caught up on when or what I eat. When I spend any effort considering things like that, all I end up thinking about is how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be to make something. And eventually, the act of eating itself starts to feel like a nuisance. My normal pattern is to just throw something together from my supply of canned and dried food. Ich bin nicht da! Komm nicht einfach so rein, du hast noch nicht mal geklopft, du hast einfach nur gefragt, ob ich da bin und bist reingekommen. Well, this is my room. Harmony barges in like she owns the place, no longer even bothering to knock. But I'm already getting used to it, I guess. Probably because I've experienced a lot of emergency zones It didn't get to me that much in the first place.
7時になったら私の部屋にご飯食べにおいでって言ったでしょ。夕食の用意してマキナと待ってたのになんで来ないかな。
As she speaks, I notice that Amane is holding a plate piled with crab legs in her hand.
実家からカニが届いたから食べにおいでって言ったじゃんさ。
I do recall such an event. I also recall responding if I'm in the mood. Not that I'd definitely be there. Yes, but I said that you and Makina should go ahead and eat if I didn't show up on time.
何？あんたもカニ嫌いなの？
Not really.
殻を剥いて食べるのがめんどくさいでしょ。マキナも同じこと言うのよね。剥いてあげれば食べるくせにさ。剥いてあげれば剥いてあげたであの子。これぞザッツカニパンでしょとか言いながらパンに挟んで食べるのよ。基本的に物の価値が分かっていないっていうか、挙句には言うにこと書いてかまぼこの方がうめえなって失礼しちゃうわよ。
Du verstehst nicht, dass man Essen gut kombinieren kann mit vielen anderen Sachen. Ich bin auch so einer, der gerne experimentiert und es schmeckt. Probably just means that Makina places more importance on how easy it is to eat. Honestly, I think I'd go for crab paste over crab myself.
なーによ、張り合いのない子たちね。世の中には食べたくても食べられない子がたくさんいるのよ。
That's certainly true.
分かったのなら文句を言わず食べなさい。殻剥いてあげるから。
Look, I wasn't really complaining, and I can take care of the shell on my own.
っていうか、私が来なかったら何を食べるつもりだったの？ご飯は炊いてあるんだ。でもこれいつ炊いたの？なんかカチカチ。
Hey, hands off. Aman is wandered off into my kitchen and is examining things as she pleases. After confirming the contents of my mess kit cooker, she opens the door to my refrigerator and starts taking stock of my supplies.
食べかけの缶詰の残りと魚肉ソーセージとマヨネーズにレタスとチンゲン菜。何これ？たくあんの缶詰？こんなのどこで売ってるのよ。っていうか、いつ開けたの？
I opened it at lunch. Get off my back. Why is it that this feels strangely embarrassing? It's not like I have any troublesome in the fridge. In the first place, where does she get off calling canned radish this thing? It's well known among canned foods connoisseurs as almost decent and pretty much edible. Is this woman looking down on the brave men and women who have gained courage from canned food throughout the years? As I silently burn with riotous indignation, Amane brazenly starts running tap water into my rice cooker. Hey, what do you think you're doing?
だってこのままじゃご飯がカチカチだし、一回水で戻すのよ。
I don't care if it's hot. Probably because I'm used to eat canned stuff that comes out arid and stiff as a wax candle. I'm pretty tolerant of tough food.
卵はと、2つしかないけど使っちゃっていい？
I don't care, but what are you planning?
カニチャーハン作ってあげる。あんたはおとなしく座って待ってなさいな。
Well, I suppose pretty much anyone can handle fried rice, especially for a woman. The somewhat prejudiced assumption is that you'll have a basic skill like that, aber nicht jede Frau kann kochen. Fact is, out of all women, the woman I've met so far, The only one who couldn't make edible fried rice was my master. Still, I can't quite hide a certain anxiety. Not that Amane is paying any attention, humming to herself as she cracks open the eggs. After shaking salt and pepper onto the eggs, she mixes in the lightly rinsed rice. The adds bit of crab meat, only about half of what she brought, and finally chopped radish. She heats a frying pan coated with mayonnaise rather than oil, adds the lettuce and spinach she plundered from my fridge, and throws in the rice mixture according to her own timing. Sticking the back of her ladle into the mix, she vigorously clatters it around the frying pan, messily stir frying the food. When Amane decides it's done, she uses the bowl as a mold to form a fried rice into a perfect hemisphere, then tosses it onto the plate. This wouldn't look out of place in a Chinese restaurant.
そして最後に
Dressing the leftover crab meat with mustard and mayo, she drops it with a thud on top of the heap of fried rice on the plate.
お待たせ
So she says, but it hasn't even been 10 minutes since Amane started to cook. The imposing pile of steaming fried rice on my plate looks pretty damn impressive for something cobbled together out of leftovers and in such a short time.
っていうか、この部屋もっと大きいテーブルないの？なんかお皿とかも少ないし、今度来るとき持ってこようか？
Not necessary. I've got what I need. The table is a small coffee table for one that Sachi dragged out of some storeroom as stopgap measure. And the frying pan and what tableware I have are things I picked out carelessly at local 100 yen and hardware stores. But since I'm living alone, it's all perfectly adequate. No point in getting more dishes when I'm only eating off one. Just means more things to wash.
確かに、洗い物は溜め込んでないみたいだけど。
Noticing something as she speaks, Amane returns to the kitchen and starts to rustle through a plastic bag in the corner. Naja, was Amane jetzt wieder vorhat, bei ihr kann man ja eigentlich nie wissen. Na, und wann wird er probieren?
これはゴミ？捨てていいの？
Huh? Yeah. I've been throwing my empty long tea bottles in that bag, and before I knew it, I had something of a pile. But I was uncertain about the timing to throw them out.
明日資源ゴミの日だから一緒に出しておいてあげる。
With well-practiced movements, she peels off the labels, removes the caps, and skillfully cuts off their plastic rings with the tip of a kitchen knife. Finally, she lightly rinses the bottles themselves with tap water. Judging from the smooth motion of her hands, she's repeated this often enough to gain the mastery of an assembly line worker. Clearly, she's something of an eco-friendly woman.
じゃあ、私部屋に戻るけど、食べ終わったらちゃんとお皿は洗い桶につけておいてね。後で洗いに来るから。
Nicht, dass wir auch selbst hätten waschen können. No, I can take care of that much myself. Sorry for the hassle.
いいのよ。ちゃんとこういうこともできるって見せておかないと、ただのエッチなお姉さんだと思われちゃうしね。
With a quick goodbye, Emily heads out of the room, not waiting for my impressions of the crab fried rice. I had the idea that a busybody woman like her would be more likely to hang over my shoulder, pestering me for compliments, but she just popped in all of a sudden, cooked for me in a flash, and then left just as quickly. It might be the influence of dealing with that whimsical Makina all the time. Let's eat. So, und ob der Reis nun schmeckt, sehen wir dann im nächsten Part. Ich sag bis dahin viel Spaß und tschüss.